This is 7 News, the voice of the coast.
Tonight, the fight continues as Foster Court dismisses a case against a state forest protester.
Waitlist times blowing out as childcare approaches crisis point.
And in the national news, the gridlock nightmare that never should have happened.
And the first interviews with asylum seekers released into the community.
7 News begins now.
Good evening. A mid-North Coast woman arrested during January's Bulga State Forest protest has today had her charges dismissed.
Susie Russell faced Foster Local Court for her part in the protest. Hannah Hardup has been in court today and joins us live now. And Hannah, what was the outcome?
Maddie, 7 News spoke with Susie moments after the case was dismissed. She said the magistrate had found that the prosecution was unable to prove the case. This brings to an end nearly 12 months of uncertainty for the passionate environmentalist.
10 months after her arrest, Susie Russell from the North East Forest Alliance has walked out of court with the charges dismissed.
Well, I feel great, obviously, to not have it hanging over me any longer.
Russell was arrested back in January for entering a forestry area without permission if prohibited by a displayed notice.
We went through the motions today and the magistrate found that they were unable to prove their case.
Members of the Alliance rallied out the front of the courthouse.
Stop native forest logging!
Supporting Susie and spreading their message far and wide.
It's just so uplifting to see people come out and to be supportive and to be present for either a good outcome or a not so good outcome.
Today's outcome, a relief for the group, after the charges were unable to be proven beyond reasonable doubt.
We are part of the people's voice and we have a right to express that voice.
Vowing to continue the fight.
While our precious species, like the greater gliders, like the koalas, like phascogales, like tiger quolls, like so many owls are going extinct. They are on the brink of extinction.
We aren't going to stop because it is a nationally significant population of an endangered animal that lives in that forest, and it's so important that those places are there for future generations.
7 News attempted to contact police for comment. Hannah Hardup, 7 News.
The timber industry on the North Coast has opened up its operations to debunk some of what they say are the myths around sustainable logging. Our cameras were given permission to film the harvesting process while the industry's own experts explained the benefits of forest harvesting.
Lifting the lid on the logging and timber industry on the North Coast. Today, State Forest granted open and uncensored access to harvesting operations in the Broken Bago State Forest.
About 1% of our forest estate gets harvested for products that are really critical to our way of life and our economy. And it's done really responsibly as well and sustainably.
Industry leaders say sustainable logging has been given a bad rap and that every harvesting operation has a focus on conservation, using state-of-the-art technology to protect habitat, food trees and tollos in the region.
There's absolutely no deforestation taking place, so the trees are allowed to regrow and regenerate. And as you can see here, the forest I'm standing in, this forest has been harvested several times. And not only the trees regrowing and regenerating, but the flora and fauna of the plants and animals are also well protected.
Australia's trade deficit for timber products has doubled in recent years. Up to $4 billion in timber is being imported from countries who may not be as well regulated. The industry has also generated more than 9,000 full-time jobs across New South Wales. Studies have also shown that a sustainably managed forest has environmental benefits for climate change.
We know that a 10% increase in the use of timber in our built environment will lead to an emissions reduction of about 2 million tonnes of carbon dioxide equivalent.
And according to the Department of Primary Industries, who've used GPS tracking and koala density studies, harvesting has no impact on local koala populations.
We actually didn't detect any change in koala density after harvesting.
The wood is being milled in local businesses for things like hardwood decking, structural grade timber, sawdust and paper, while injecting $3 billion into the economy.
Every stick that comes out of this coop here today will get used in some way.
Samantha Crowe, 7 News.
A serious shortfall in childcare places is approaching crisis point on the mid-North Coast. Parents are tonight pulling out all the stops as waiting times blow out to record levels. Liz Penny is live for us tonight in Coffs Harbour with the details on the issue that's creating serious problems for working parents.
Well, Maddie, it can be hard to even hold down a job if you can't find carers for your children. Now mums and dads are registering their unborn children at daycare centres just with the hope of securing a spot 2 or maybe 3 years down the track. The brand new boss at the Coffs Coast Wildlife Sanctuary has assumed control of a multi-million-dollar enterprise with a baby on her hip.
I'm just trying to find childcare. It's just impossible.
Waiting lists for early childhood centres are blowing out to record levels.
I started applying when I was 6 months pregnant and now she's 8 months and I still can't find anywhere.
Others are getting in even earlier, registering the same day they realise a baby is on the way.
I told the daycare before I even told my parents that we were pregnant.
Centres are plagued with constant phone calls from parents who are desperate for a place as their dwindling maternity leave counts down.
It's that hard. You have to be on top of it or you're not going to get in.
A double income now considered an essential ingredient to balancing the family budget.
Well, the suppliers love her, but it is hard trying to get all those important meetings done and computer work and making sure she gets all the developmentary needs that she needs as well.
Some early daycare centres here at Tormina have already got up to 200 babies on their waiting list, with staff already working at full capacity.
It's quite a demanding job and I think that it can be exhausting and that's why we get high turnaround and burnout.
Children's behaviour also proving more challenging.
A lot of these children that have come through now have been in lockdown for 3 years. They haven't had the social exposure that they've had and I think that screen time definitely has played an impact on children's behaviour.
Childcare centres are finding it difficult to recruit staff, with many young educators opting for higher pay rates working in schools.
You'd probably end up earning 30 to 40,000 more than if you came into early childhood.
Liz Penny, 7 News.
A software update gone wrong is said to be behind the Optus network crash last week. The company says the outage was due to routers disconnecting from its core network after maintenance works. The crash left millions of customers without a phone signal or internet for up to 14 hours. A Senate inquiry into the incident will begin this Friday, and we will have more on this story at 6:30 with Daniel Gibson.
After nearly a year, the Independent Pricing and Regulatory Tribunal released its final report on the review of the rate pegging method. The new rate peg method will be in place for the 2024-2025 financial year and will use forward-looking measures of councils' base costs. The report says changes should result in rate pegs that more accurately reflect changes in the costs New South Wales councils incur in providing their current services.
A surf safety program that's run for the last 30 years hit the road to the Northern Rivers today. Students at Tunnable Falls Primary School were educated on the do's and don'ts when arriving at the beach. It was all part of the annual Beach to the Bush program.
It's one of the largest surf education programs in the state. Beach to Bush has been running for the last 30 years as educators attempt to minimise the risk of drownings around New South Wales.
Swimming with an adult, all those things, if we can talk to children about that now and embed those messages, then we're going to be having much better statistics.
Students at Tunnable Falls Primary School in the Northern Rivers were told of the importance of beach safety today. And while not all of them have a lot of experience in the waves, they did learn a thing or two.
You can float on your back so you don't use much energy.
Some head to the coast regularly,
I go to the beach quite often.
while others don't.
About 50-50 or something. Maybe 10 out of 50.
Over the last 3 decades, more than 285,000 students have learned how to stay safe at the beach.
Yeah, it's a wonderful program. We've got 15 tours going out all over New South Wales. We've got 11,000 students that we're meeting with, 96 schools that we're going to. So it's really important to start that conversation at the school, help the teachers to be able to deliver safety information with the school, so when the children arrive at the beach, they're ready to be safe and have fun.
Swimming between the red and yellow flags will forever remain the safest place.
So the benefits are telling these children and getting the messages back to their families as well about checking the beaches that they want to go to, using the Beach Safe app and making planning for the future.
Paul Jobber, 7 News.
Well, Kirsty is here now for a look at how today's weather stacked up right on the coast. And Kirsty, we have seen a little bit of wind about today.
Yeah, it's been a windy day, but also fairly settled conditions in terms of our sunshine. Good evening, everyone. Plenty of blue skies, some widespread cloud in the far north, stretched to the northern rivers this morning. That did clear by mid-morning, as Nick said. A windy day, those winds swinging out of the east and the northeast, fairly gusty at times, up to 40 kilometres an hour in Taree, up to 50 kilometres an hour towards Coffs Harbour. Our temperatures range from the low to the high 20s in terms of our maximums. Yamba 24 degrees, inland at Leesmore and Tenterfield maximums of 28. Even Byron Bay reached 28 as well. As we track into tomorrow though, there is the chance of storms developing. Showers also forecast during the second half of the week. I'll have a look at our details for Wednesday a little later.
Thanks, Kirsty. See you in a couple of minutes.
Still to come in 7 News, a crucial trip across Australia for some cute marsupials to help boost their numbers.
And all the fun and games from a family-friendly circus in Port Macquarie.
And a little later on this news hour, a routine sprinkler test brings traffic to a standstill, clogging one of Sydney's biggest roads. Plus, a man armed with an axe goes on a car-wrecking rampage in Melbourne. And surgery by Torchlight, Gaza's biggest hospital, caught in the crossfire.
Welcome back. Hudson Circus say they're one of the last in the country still delivering animal performances under a traditional big top. This week, death-defying stunts, clowns, the animals and everything in between are on show in Port Macquarie as the circus makes its way up the coast.
The flipping disc dogs shot to fame in the semi-finals of Australia's Got Talent and even laid claim to a Guinness World Record. Now residents on the North Coast have the chance to see them in action under the big top with Hudson Circus.
We love animals and that's why we're here. We started our dogs because we love working with dogs and being around dogs, and now we get to be around these guys too.
Performing pups and also dancing Welsh mountain ponies. Plus 2 dromedary camels. All of the circus animals are domestic and their trainers say they love being part of the performance.
They have lots of fun, especially these girls. If you catch them in the show, if they're rolling around or they're bouncing around with their lips, that means they're having lots of fun.
But it's not just the animals on show, there's death-defying stunts like the Brazilian Globe Riders.
Boys risk their life every night, whizzing around at high speeds, and if you're an adrenaline junkie, that's not to be missed.
So far, the circus has been near capacity for every show, with another week remaining in Port Macquarie.
You'll get a full 2-hour production show. It's not just about the sawdust and the ring and the lights, it's the whole production.
Next, Hudson Circus will head to Mullumbimby. Samantha Crowe, 7 News.
The Salvation Army is asking locals to get into the spirit of Christmas and donate to the annual Christmas Toy Drive appeal. Last year, more than 6,000 gifts were donated in regional New South Wales, providing struggling families with Christmas presents. Donations can be made to Newcastle Permanent and Greater Bank branches until December 15. They might be small, but 11 endangered quolls from Taronga Western Plains Zoo have made a crucial trip across Australia to boost the species' population. Although getting to their new home was a complicated process.
Monitoring their every movement by CCTV. This is inside Taronga Western Plains Zoo Feral Predator Proof Sanctuary, the home of the endangered chittich, otherwise known as the Western quoll, which is involved in a breeding program. Hanging on to Mama, their newly born joeys, keepers providing a watchful eye.
Watching those joeys through our camera system grow up.
Growing up to the stage where 11 joeys can be released into the wild. But to get there requires a check-over with their eyes, teeth and body size. Before being buckled up to hit the road to the airport. The important group travelling over 4,000 kilometres to Perth, where they spent 2 nights monitored before a final 5-hour car trip to the Mount Gibson Wildlife Sanctuary in the Western Australian wheat belt to be released. One by one, each joey fitted with tracking collars leapt out of the hands of their keepers to join the newly established 34-strong Chittich population.
The relief afterwards of seeing those guys go from those boxes and ping out into the wild, like, it's just the most amazing feeling.
The species was once found across 70% of mainland Australia, but has been reduced to just 5% of its former range, extinct in the wild in New South Wales, the NT and Queensland. This release is a crucial part of the quest to restore their population.
As good as we could hope, really, which was awesome. I'm very, very happy.
Hamish Southwell, 7 News.
Up next in 7 News, a promising Coffs Coast surfer continues to make waves.
And the NRL draw for the 2024 year to feature yet another visit by the Cronulla Sharks.
Tomorrow on Sunrise, the fight to save our high streets, the new push to bring life back to our suburbs.
Plus, uncovering destination dupes, the budget trend for travelling families with affordable alternatives for luxury locations.
See you in the morning.
The Cronulla Sharks have been locked in for a fourth consecutive NRL clash on the Coffs Coast. Lock round 18 into your calendar next season when they host the Gold Coast Titans.
The Cronulla Sharks are planning a return to their happy hunting ground on the Coffs Coast, racking up 3 straight wins, the latest against the Knights in front of a sellout crowd.
We're 3 from 3 so far, playing up in Coffs. Hopefully we can go up there and make it 4 from 4.
The round 18 clash locked in for the 5th of July under lights at the CEX Coffs Stadium. The Gold Coast Titans and the Sharks meeting halfway, a potentially crucial round heading into the finals.
Coffs is a great sort of central location for both of those areas. So yeah, we hope to see people from the Gold Coast, from Cronulla, come to Coffs and enjoy a great long weekend.
The Sharks returning with a mainly familiar senior squad with a few newcomers waiting in the wings. The NRL team back in training from this weekend.
There's a few good young players that by round 18 might be pushing the more established names for positions in our team. So it's probably watch this space.
Council looking to make up an accounting shortfall after State Labor canned the regional events funding, a loss of $100,000 to $150,000 to help Council cover hosting rights.
We bring probably 20 players plus support staff and a lot of our marketing and commercial people as well. So we've got a big crew that comes up.
Ticket sales helping bridge the gap, Council anticipating a full house.
We're hoping to see a sellout crowd. Like this year we had over 10,000 people.
The Sharks always a popular attraction in the lead up to the big day.
Cronulla in particular, come here and really support and really engage with a lot of our sporting clubs, some of our schools.
Tickets will go on sale in the new year. Liz Penny, 7 News.
Coffs Coast surfing sensation Rosie Smart is now ranked 3rd in the WSL qualifying series. Smart took out 5th place at the Taiwan Open this week, bumped out of contention for the win on the final day of competition. A solid performance for the 18-year-old, following up on 3rd place in the NIAS Pro in Indonesia last month. The WSL series continues with the Australian leg starting in February. Next stop for Smart is WA for 6 weeks of big break training ahead of the Usher Cup at Snapper Rocks in January.
Up next in 7 News, Kirsty is back and she's got your local weather. Everything you need to know, that's next.
Good evening, everyone. A trough is developing over inland New South Wales and is drawing heat into parts of the state from the north, but could also trigger shower and storm activity in the eastern half of the state over the next couple of days. Following this, conditions will become more settled as a new high pressure system becomes our main weather feature, bringing clearer skies and sunshine. Rain-wise, though, once again, our state does look to be split in half, the west remaining mostly dry. We are expecting most of the upcoming rainfall towards the northeast. The chance of showers for the North Coast at this stage looks to sit around 20 to 30 millimetres. We could see some heavier isolated falls in some areas though. Taking a look now to the middle of our working week, and we should see partly cloudy skies along the coast tomorrow. Fairly settled weather, winds chopping and changing direction into the middle of the day with maximum temperatures between the high 20s and the low 30s. There is a slight chance of a storm developing, 28 on the way for Casino. On the waters tomorrow, still a strong wind warning for Byron Bay, northerly winds up to 30 knots. In the south, we will see that swell increasing between around 5 and 8 feet. To Thursday now, we're expecting some showers driven by that trough and some onshore winds. There is about a 60% chance of between 5 and 7 millimetres, mainly through the afternoon and the evening, as well as some thunderstorms around. During the day, partly cloudy for Coffs Harbour, remaining warm, 29 degrees and 31 on the way for Casino. Partly cloudy into Friday, but with a higher chance of showers, and 95% chance in Port Macquarie of between 2 and 20 millimetres with thunderstorms around as well. We can see those temperatures dropping for most regions, but remaining cloudy in the south and gusty southeasterly winds sticking around. Around the likes of Lismore towards Evans Head and around Grafton, we could see between 1 and 15 millimetres of rain. Certainly lots to keep an eye on over the coming days, with some showers forecast for the second half of the week.
It looks like a wet end to the week. Thanks,
That's right.
Kirsty. See you later. Now, for a quick look at fuel prices around the region. The best for unleaded in Port Macquarie is $1.88 at the Mobil or the Independent there. Diesel is $2.09 at the Independent. In Gloucester, the Tyre and Auto has unleaded posted at $1.99. Diesel is $2.16. The United Server Woolgoolga has unleaded at $1.99. The Ampol has diesel for $2.19. And at Casino, unleaded is posted at $1.97 at the United, which also has diesel for $2.19.
And that is all we have time for tonight. Thanks for watching. You can always catch up on our website or at 7plus.
Right now, though, Dan has your national news. Have a lovely night. See you again tomorrow night from 6 o'clock. See you there.